Resources, 4 cards?
Yeah.
Okay,
One.
so this is turning into more like a Monopoly game. The risk is it's
so
a little faster in some ways, but it's slow like Monopoly so far.
I got a wood.
Your new.
Hills
Also, we
are
have no
brick.
idea what we're doing, so
What are
that might
hills?
add some to the game.
Well, that's why we're doing this, so we can figure out what else we need and what adjustments we have to make. And so far, we found about 30 adjustments that need to be made. Okay, so we're 2.5 hours in the game?
Yeah. First disagreement is about the 7th year. We're going to take it out for now until I can convene with Griffin, the co-owner. But for now, I'm just going to say he gets double the resources all this turn.
Well, what card is that?
7th year.
That's
7th
sounds like
year.
a year of plenty, right?
Yeah.
No, year of plenty gives you 1 extra.
Oh, no, that's
Each
famine.
draft.
That's like the famine year, right?
Yes, they don't like the card. We're changing it for now. We're going to take it out. It's just going to, for now, it's just going to double his resources, and it's not going to be drawn again until we can discuss balancing issues.
7th year is like year of plenty times 7.
It's way worse.
The Jubilee year, 49th year.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna play music, and that's all we needed to say.
Okay.
On 7th year.
Basically, because it's a famine, people are still going to survive, so the resources are still going to happen even in famine. So cut all of your resources in half for the 7 years, rounded down.
Okay.
So in half, let's say you have 7 tiles set, or 7 tiles, that would be 3.
Right.
And then at the end, you get, say, 3 resources per tile owned. Still very, very resourceful, very beneficial at the end, but it's not over the top like 7 or 14 cards per tile.
Okay. All right. I see what you're saying.
And it doesn't completely cut you off during the rest of it.
Yeah. What do we think? Do we like this?
You collect the extra you said on the 7th turn.
The 7th turn, like you said, except rather than we're downgrading the end game, the end part result, but also downgrading the punishment.
Yeah, I think that balances everything out a little bit more. It was a little extreme.
So we like this then?
And meaning?
I like it.
Clearly, I like it since I'm the one that. Yeah. Okay. So I think we've agreed on that. So we can add 7th year back to the pile. Yay! And we have our first waning empire.
How long are you expecting this game to be in time duration on average?
I don't have a goal yet. I was wanting it to be faster than Risk, but that's all I have.
7 rounds with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us. That's a lot of time.
It's going to be a Monopoly game with this many people.
Monopoly game. We're going. Now it's a commitment. You gotta wait a long time to collect it. Be an hour and a half.
Well, you know, just like Risk, I think we ought to do like a fast game, like there is with Monopoly.
Okay, so you have the option for a faster.
Like I said, I have the extra cards instead of having the cards turned over, and you release them all at once, and you do 3 turns at once collaboratively. So whoever you attack, you can attack on one front with all of your people.
Okay, so there's an option we'll work out option for a faster paced game.
Yeah. So
in the meantime, let's discuss waning empires. Anyone who's ever played Small World, that's basically what this is. His faction's gonna go start waning, meaning he can no longer place units of those 2, except that he's elves. So he loses these units 15 for the Ecocracy. He keeps the ability, and since he keeps the abilities, he gets to continue to place Elven units. And then he activates these. Oh, he's got Watchers. Oh my god.
okay, so wait a minute. So if someone is waned and they're turned over, then what happens to their troops on the board? They stay there, or you have to take them off?
They stay there.
The 15 troops though, I lose that.
You continue to play with them until they die, and when they die, they go into the grave pile.
Okay.
To be resurrected by the undead.
Okay, but this is still active.
Yes, the ability is still active. The
Never-
ability never shuts off.
Okay.
So even in this, their abilities are working?
No, those aren't active yet.
Oh, okay.
After an ability has been activated, it stays active.
Oh, okay.
So, cool. So, okay, everyone understand what's going on?
Yeah.
I think we explained that clearly enough for the camera. Cool.
Alright. Alright. First of all, theocracy.
Ecocracy.
It's not eco. Eocracy.
Dad, what did you do?
Unless there's a missing C.
Okay.
Eocracy.
Alright, go.
Theocracy. I thought that looked
I love
funny.
the British
I actually kind of
pronunciation.
like that. Better than
Anyways,
theology.
however you pronounce it, it was pretty stacked. I think we should lower it to what? 2?
But you can't build forts.
Just one? Just one additional tree? For like every tree? Okay. Whatever. Maybe one tree.
We'll look over it. We'll revamp it.
Also, I don't know if you should be able to lose your buildings. Because when you took over my house,
I
my
wasn't supposed to
farm-
destroy those things. I was supposed to take over those.
Barbarians are the only ones that destroy them.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Okay, but still, I don't even know if you should be able to take them from me, because that set me back so much. I had to then get all the same resources and rebuy that house and that farm. And it takes a lot of time to do. Several turns to accumulate that.
Mhm.
And that makes for a longer game. So if we want to speed up the game, maybe those houses are removed and you get to then replace them somewhere else on one of your territories that you control.
Building
What do
on
you think
that,
about that?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think one way to address that would be A, revamp the combat system so that it's not as easy to just say, okay, I'm gonna roll a die and this tile is mine.
We need to redo the combat system. Biggest thing, right?
Oh, the other one. Either redo the combat system
Okay.
or make buildings a whole lot cheaper.
I'm going to do that.
Really?
That's
I
like, I'm
can't build
talking
nothing.
1 wood per house.
Find something for the
Maybe.
same.
Like, if it's
Well-
gonna be this easy to conquer stuff, buildings have to be cheap.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It depends on the number of players, because the more players there are, the more competition there is for resources.
Right.
If you're just playing with 2 people, resources are easy to come by because you just
Yeah,
put one on each, and
exactly.
it'll be several turns, so you have a lot of resources.
So the
So it's weighted
cost of a house goes up
as the more players
as
you
more
have.
players come.
Yeah, the effective cost is like inflation.
Right.
So I think there ought to be some multiplier or de-escalation of prices for more players so that you
Yeah.
move
Oh,
faster,
here's
or
what-
start out with resources.
I like that. We start out with resources.
Or else you don't lose those houses like I was saying. You get them back.
That can be something done with a lot of players like this. When you've got like 6, 7 players, I think they ought to keep their resources.
Here's another option.
Frogmen.
I will admit they do seem a little bit underpowered, so my suggestion to fixing them is just allowing them to build any structure other than mines in the water.
Okay. Well, I'll look over it and I'll try to revamp it.
Tribal
and try
had no
to figure
issue.
balance
That
it.
was totally worth it.
I think the tribal was pretty balanced. I mean, it wasn't overpowered. It
Yeah.
would have been had he got this, but even so.
I don't know. It's got a
Oh.
pretty good advantage.
Before I
but it
forget,
wasn't
hang on.
overpowered.
Before I
Yeah.
forget,
Yes.
I remembered. Okay, so take out the multiply tribe
Yeah.
event card and do it every rotation. So every time it goes around once, the tribes multiply. That way, for whenever you're playing by
Right.
yourself
Okay.
or with just 2 people, it does a balancing act to where everything is constantly strengthening
Right.
around you, and it
Okay.
makes it difficult to fight for land around you.
But then at that point, tribal will be overpowered.
Yeah. At that point, tribal would be. Really
So-
And then you would, if you do that, you would have to weaken
This would
tribal.
have to be an event card then.
Mm,
It would have to.
Yeah.
What is it?
You
I don't
would-
even know
Tribal.
what it is.
It's a governing.
it,
A governing
it,
card.
it makes
I can't
it where
read
you-
this.
It makes it to where
Basically-
you can conquer.
Tribal
don't-
tongue, instead of fighting tiles and with lost tribes, just add those units to your army, gaining control of the tile with no battle.
Yeah.
Doesn't say that.
So
Okay.
these
Yeah, that-
units
that would have to-
would
that
have
would-
become Amos's if he had taken this territory with tribal tongue.
Therefore, if we did do what you had suggested, whereas every turn, every tribe advanced by 1 extra unit, this would have to be taken out of a governing card, put in events.
So you could balance it by just simply making him have to fight the tile that has the tribe on it, but instead of killing the tribe, he inherits the tribe.
Okay,
That would work.
yeah, there we go.
That
We
would
can do
work.
that.
That would balance it a little bit.
Right. After that, do we need to do anything to vampires? You said the Endless Night was overpowered. We should only do one rotation as opposed to two.
What's that again?
Remove all attacking and defending units. The one
Yeah.
that everyone got furious
yeah.
over.
That was.
Yes. The
Well,
one that
but
destroyed me.
that's the only advantage for having a vampire
No,
because.
there are other event cards that affect vampires.
Oh,
So
okay.
we
I
haven't
haven't.
seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to go through and increase their frequency.
What about Horde?
But if I increase their frequency too much, vampires will be overpowered.
Okay, so Horde, the problem with that is the thing where it says you get 10 more than the next highest faction, then that basically is worthless because you can't use any of those because you're only limited to 2 playing. So
Well,
I
you
think,
can play 2 a turn and build them up over time.
well, yeah, but
But then that's something.
I have 8 guys on one piece of property because of that.
And
And
I
there's a lot of people out here with a lot more pieces.
Well, why did you have 8 here? Why didn't you expand?
I was going to attack, but I wanted to build up a, but I didn't have the ability to put any more soldiers on there because.
All right, so I think this is a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah,
So
we are wrapping it up.
two final notes on that. The dragon needs better event cards,
Yes.
such
And move
as
south. The
such
dragon moves north.
well,
Dragon moves south. The dragon moves north.
Go to the nearest occupied territory west.
no. What? So you could do something like move to the closest forest or
Yeah.
move to the closest
Water.
city.
I can see it now. The guy on the watchtower. Hey guys, the dragon's
That
moving.
would be.
Where's it
painful.
moving?
Anyways,
Moving
okay.
south.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I
Move,
like that.
move to the close. You could do stuff like
So
that.
decrease
And
dragon
second of
move.
all-
So decrease dragon move frequency while increasing its accuracy.
Not necessarily. You could still keep in the move south, move east, and then have those other cards on top of it. The final note: barbarians need to be looked at.
Yeah. Thoughts from Isaac?
It's good.
It's good. Ryan's already given his thoughts.
Yep.
Amos does not count.
That's the way it works around here.
No, okay. So I think this is a pretty successful proof of concept night, and this is the board, what it looks like. I hope everyone has enjoyed and
We
had
need to-
fun, and let's close on a prayer.
And reduce the sand.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yes.
reduce sand and
Oh,
add more resources. Okay. A lot of